and welcome back to Menu Heroes Digest. Today's episode might sound a little different because Jordan is coming through my phone into the microphone. Yay!
Yeah, it's one of those days.
Alright. So.
It's just like, I have so many thoughts for this week, because we got a lot to talk about, folks. You know, we got plenty of trailers, a lot of test footage, a lot of news coming in, and, you know, I got some thoughts, Steven's got some thoughts, I'm sure all you listening got some thoughts, and, you know, it's always sucks that, like, we have so many, like, technical issues going on, and I just hope y'all can hear me clearly, because...
Yeah, in fact...
I want this to work so bad. I really want this to... I think that's going to be a great episode, but if we keep having problems, man, it's going to be rough to listen to.
Yeah, so, enjoy this title theme while I go and check on the audio. Alright, and everything seems like it's working out pretty good.
Oh, good. Oh, goody.
So, let's go to our first story, which is about God of War.
Why?
So, Sony, coming off the success of their Uncharted movie, it has announced plans to adapt several of their franchises into TV shows and, you know, other movies. And one of those they recently announced was God of War.
I mean, that's definitely one of those I would pick to adapt.
Yeah, I mean, I've always enjoyed the God of War series. It's been quite a while since I've played them, but it was pretty fun. So, they are working.
Yeah, go on.
Okay. They're working with Amazon to create the God of War TV adaptation. They are also working on a Horizon, or they have plans for a Horizon Zero Dawn series, also live action.
Yep, and I believe we talked about the last series coming to, I think, also Amazon, or no, HBO Max. It's going to HBO Max.
Yes, The Last of Us. We did talk about that.
Yep. And, as said, so far so good. I know some people... Look, there are certainly people online that said, like, they already ruined Uncharted, it's already ruined, and look, by all means, that movie was not very faithful to the source material, and I feel like they could have gotten a better Sully than Wahlberg, but I thought Tom Holland was pretty charming. I thought this is at least offering an action, globe-trotting, you know, treasure-hunting film that, like, I have a sauce for those kind of movies, and it did well enough to, like, warrant a sequel and to encourage Sony and PlayStation to continue on with making more adaptations on their hit video games.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. Mark Wahlberg was originally supposed to play Nathan Drake.
I do remember that. Look, whatever your thoughts are on Mark Wahlberg, the person or as an actor, I just don't think he was a good fit for either Nathan Drake or Sully. You know, I know that was the plan for him being involved anyway, and just him, you know, by getting Tom Holland as Nathan Drake, they had to give him Sully because, hey, they promised him some kind of role in this movie. But if they cast him in the next one, I wouldn't shed a tear. That's all I'm saying.
So, we briefly mentioned Horizon Zero Dawn, and this series is actually being adapted by Netflix.
Oh, we're doing the Resident Evil Dawn story? I thought we were going to cover a bit of the God of War one.
We did.
Yeah, but we didn't say who was getting involved. Like,
oh, well, then you briefly mentioned it.
But, like, it got cut off. Or, like, the internet messed up.
My bad. I forgot. So tell me, Jordan, who is involved?
Well, basically, the creators of the Amazon series The Expanse, which I need to finish. I've seen the first season. It's really good, but there's been so much TV and a lot of movies coming out. I haven't had time to finish up on Expanse. It's Matt Fergus and Hawk Osby with Rafe Jukins from The Wheel of Time as I believe it's going to be the showrunner. Also, are going to be one of the head writers of it as well. And again, I apologize for getting the names wrong. I always do. I'm terrible at names, but as I said, like even though I do, so I think this has some potential. You know, I do need to sit down and watch The Wheel of Time. I've heard plenty of people love that adaptation, or thought it was a pretty good show, and sounded to me like they got some good talent involved here. I know plenty of the fans are hoping for Dave Bautista or Jason Momoa to be Kratos, and I think 10 years ago I would have said, really though? I don't know, because, you know, like they were definitely always big, muscular guys, but I think only recently that they've really grown as actors, and especially Dave Bautista, like seeing him in both Blade Runner 2049 and in the Dune movie, he has grown a lot as an actor. So if they said Dave Bautista is going to be Kratos, I'm open for that. Or I feel like that fits better nowadays than it would have 10 years ago. But again, they haven't confirmed that or anything. I'm just like, yeah, it's just fan speculation right now.
It's just fan casting, but I mean, you've seen how that has worked out in the past, so it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Hey, man, you know, the internet, it's a very powerful thing.
Yes, it is.
The internet brought back Morbius into theaters.
Oh, God. Okay, nope. We're moving on.
We will promise. Okay, so on to Horizon Zero Dawn. Alright, so I said that's going to be on Netflix. You know,
yes.
PlayStation and Sony's, their plan is going to be, you know, we're not doing our own streaming service, but we'll make content and we'll have the streaming services come to us and buy our shows and movies.
You know, it's
hey,
kind of funny, because I'm reading over this article again, and it's listing the projects PlayStation has, and so Horizon's on Netflix, The Last of Us is on HBO, God of War is on Amazon Prime, and Twisted Metal is going to be on Peacock.
Yes, and I think they said that Anthony Mackie is signed on for Twisted Metal. I don't know a whole lot about. I know it's like super edgy race game of like, you know, where all the things are terrible. Like nobody has a good ending in those games because it's from what I've been told. So, maybe how they adapt that or how they pull that show off, or it's off. But I don't know anybody that has Peacock. Do you know anybody that has Peacock?
I don't know anyone who pays for the service. Now, Peacock does have a free tier.
True.
But Peacock's kind of like the black sheep of the streaming family.
Yeah, I mean, even Paramount Plus has been growing more and more subscribers and getting more attention, because while, yes, the Halo series is getting a lot of hate, they do have some stuff like The Offer, which is about like it's sort of like a biopic on the making of The Godfather.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
getting a lot of praise and love right now.
I remember
and
seeing
there's
that.
one
I didn't watch it, but
I've heard
I
a
saw
lot of good things
trailers.
from that. Yeah, and that's it. And although Yellowstone is something that my whole family is getting into, and they're loving that, and it's been getting a bunch of spin-offs. So, hey, Paramount, they found their niche, or they're finding their audience, and as I said, they're climbing up, or they're gaining notoriety. And also, yes, they're doing a Knuckles spin-off series.
Ooh.
I'm not sure when that's coming out, but that will happen.
And they also have Star Trek and Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned Knuckles because that's going to be the brand new Sonic related thing.
That's going to be
specifically
specifically
for their service. Yeah.
But yes, Horizon Zero Dawn, in case you missed it, was a PlayStation 4 game released in 2017. I have heard fantastic things about it. I never really got a chance to play it because I've never had
only got a chance to experience through walkthroughs. Yeah, there's plenty of games that I would have loved to have played, but unfortunately with time and my PS4 not working right, unfortunately I have to experience things through walkthroughs. But yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn, I've heard a lot of good things about that. Heard that the sequel is good, but unfortunately it came around the time that Elden Ring came out, and that game blew up like crazy. That was super hyped game that overshadowed everything.
Yeah. Regarding the adaptation, there's not really much more known except that it's being produced at Netflix.
Yep.
So, let us talk about some of the many trailers we saw this week. Starting with Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet.
Yes, we shall.
So, I know Jordan's not too excited about this. He's been burned by Pokemon before. That's fair. I watched the trailer, and it does seem like it's got some cool things going for it. So first off, we've got two different professors, and they'll be for each one. For Scarlet,
really hot.
Oh my god, he's not wrong, but
I mean the article they are looking directly at me, and I'm like, oh no.
Hey, behave yourself.
Sexual panic. Oh god. Oh no.
No, you're Happy Pride Month, bud.
Yes, Pride Month, and I mean good. You know.
Oh my god. Anyway, Happy Pride Month to all of you out there.
Yes, Happy Pride Month, and here to celebrate, we got one hot female professor and one hot male professor. So pick your pick.
Oh my god. So, the female professor, who is featured in Scarlet, is called Professor Sada. The male professor, who is in Violet, is called Professor Turo. Now, my Spanish-speaking friends, who I have a lot of on Facebook, I don't know why. I don't even know how I met half of them. I think it was through Animal Crossing. They have pointed out that these names are puns on basically the past and the future. And if you look at a lot of what's shown, you can get that feel. Like, you look at the legendaries, one of them looks more natural, and one of them looks more machinery.
Yeah.
Another thing that seems to be showing up in the game is 4-player co-op. Like, in the actual game, which, if done right, seems like it'd be great. And these are also supposedly going to be the first ever open world Pokemon games. Like, you'll experience a world you're free to explore at your leisure, not in an order dictated by the story. This comes from Twitter, and this comes from the Pokemon UK account. So it will be an actual open world Pokemon. non-linear, which is going to be interesting because Pokemon is notorious for being linear.
Oh, is it? Oh, dear Arceus, it is.
And, I'm excited for it.
Yeah. And I do want to clarify something. It's that I think Pokemon itself is a franchise I still like, and I am always curious about what they're going to do next. I think, like, why I wasn't super excited by Scarlet and Violet is because, like, yeah, I was let down by Sword and Shield. I think a lot of people were just let down by that, because that was technically the first official console Pokemon, like, not just a spin-off, not just like whatever. It's supposed to be an official generation Pokemon game that was on console, and it felt like it belonged on a 3DS.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't feel like that different from what was from Sun and Moon. I do love Sun and Moon. I thought those were really good.
Yeah. I do agree with that. That's a very good point. And Pokemon's weird. It's one of those franchises where I really enjoy the Pokemon more, the creatures more than I do the games.
Yeah.
I have a couple Pokemon characters, because spoiler alerts, everyone on this channel is a furry. Xander won't admit it, but Xander's a furry. And so, I like Pokemon. I have an Incineroar OC. But yeah. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, this is just one of the...
I'm Gengar. So long as there's Gengar, I'll at least give it a shot. And they showed Gengar in the trailer.
They did show Gengar in the trailer. Right.
Yeah. And I'll again, one more thing I'll say is that I think the biggest reason why, like, I had to watch the trailer a couple times to, like, start getting excited more for this game is because, like, I did like Pokemon Legends Arceus. It took me a while to really get into it, but I thought I was hoping that that'd be the direction the franchise would go more towards. I thought there wouldn't be an RPG or a throwback or at some point, but I was hoping that the Pokemon Legends would be where the franchise goes and do more of that, and because I feel, because the one thing, again, love this franchise or not, it does have a habit of repeating several themes and gimmicks over and over again, and to me, Legends Arceus felt different enough to where this could, it got me excited for the future of Pokemon again.
It was a very welcome breath of fresh air.
Yes, it was, and I do hope they don't abandon that. I hope they keep going with that.
I hope they use it as an opportunity to expand lore, because some regions do have interesting backstories that could be explored.
Yeah, and also, like, there is good stories in Pokemon. I think Gen 5 has the best story of all of them, but that's just my personal take. I think also Gen 4 and also again Gen 7. I thought the stories were overall pretty good, and it's like, but at the same time, you would hope that they would expand more on that, or maybe have full-on like voice acting in one of these, which I felt lacking in Legends Arceus, but that's a discussion for another day.
Yes. So, Sonic Frontiers also got a trailer. I personally thought it looked great. I think it looks fun. A lot of the people I'm friends with think otherwise, kind of dishearteningly, so I'm a little apprehensive to hear what your thoughts are, Jordan, because you grew up with Sonic.
Yes, and I have had my hopes up for Sonic before. I've been let down.
Multiple times.
It's there's been times where, like, Sega has promised they'd do better, and in some cases they have. You will occasionally see a Generations, a Sonic, a Colors, a Sonic Mania. You'll see those every once in a while, but it's like there's, again, I lived through the whole thing of Sonic 06. I was there. I had held on to hope that the possibility of a next gen, like triple A, 3D Sonic game and what all it could be, and how disappointed I was, and how completely just broken that game was. Absolutely buggy and just janky as all heck. And you would think I'd be the same way for this one, but I do want to say this: they did release 2 different game footages. The first one they showed was of the basic look of the island, or like one part of the island, and just how Sonic moves. You start off walking, but then you move a bit further and it goes faster and railing. The second gameplay footage was more combat, and I actually think the combat looks good. I'm thinking okay, this is utilizing Sonic's speed and ultimately his jumping, and also the ability to create whirlwinds to get enemies off their guard. I think that is brilliant. I think that is utilizing the character's abilities without giving some other weirder mechanics, some extra things, not giving him weapons, not making him turn to a big wolf creature thing. Just he's fast, this is his main thing, but utilizing all you can do with a character who's speed, who can do fast attacks, fast jumps, and can create whirlwinds to again get enemies off the ground and everything. And especially the big giant monster thing, I thought that sequence looked cool. Now, as for the complaints about it's so bare and so empty, it looks boring, I want to say this: I think there is going to be a plot reason as to why there isn't many people or many living things around. Why it's mostly machines. My first theory is this is going to be a virtual reality twist, or it's going to be revealed. Oh my God, Sonic's been in the Matrix the whole time and everything, and we gotta bust him out. Or you keep hearing about Amy's voice in some of the trailers. Maybe it's Amy finds Sonic's in a pod or whatever, is trying to break him out, and this whole game is just Sonic stuck in the virtual reality thing. That's one theory. My second theory is that the idea of these nano machines that are taking over the island, but the more machines you destroy, the more you rescue the people, because that's kind of what Sonic was in the earlier days, of these robots and machines everywhere on this island. And once you destroy them, a bunch of little animals come out of the robots, and we're freed. You're freeing all the animals, and that might be what you do in this game, is trying to destroy as many machines, as many metal monstrosities, in order to save the people, of the animals, of the life forms on this island. And from that, life has grown. But that's just a theory of mine.
Okay,
Alright, that's how I'm trying to justify. Because again, this does look like a tech demo. It honestly does. But I'm willing to wait to see more of what they have to offer and what more this game can be. Because I'm trying to hold on to some kind of hope that the more we see, the better it looks. And that's my main thought.
Yeah, and to be fair, they've only shown 2 trailers.
Yeah.
For all we know, this is just one area of the whole world.
I'm sure it is. I know they said that you're stuck on this mysterious island. I am positive the island's gonna be bigger than this section.
So, let's talk about Sega some more. They have announced a sequel to their mini Mega Drive, which is known as the Genesis in America. It's known as the Mega Drive everywhere else. And there was
we're just a big fan of Phil Collins, Steven. We gotta reference Phil Collins.
Phil Collins?
Genesis, the band he was in.
Oh, I don't know.
I know, I was reaching, but I was trying to be funny.
Anyway.
I'm old, Steven. That's the joke.
You're old, that's the joke. This one will feature cartridge games, as well as titles from the Mega CD add-on. So, this includes games like Slipheed, Shining Force CD, Sonic CD,
Right.
Virtual Racing,
Right on.
and Shining in the Darkness. So this is, right now it's only been announced for Japan. It's going to launch October 27th for about $75. And, you know, it's interesting to see. We'll wait and see if it's coming to the West. The Sega Genesis is really interesting because of all the add-ons they made for it, which was one of the reasons it, you know, they flopped towards the end of their console making. That and Japan, Sega of Japan and Sega of America could not agree. Japan kept undercutting America.
We have talked about this in length, and I have experienced this in real time. And yeah, this is the pain of a Sega kid. You know, having to endure all of that and to see how badly the company was managed and how they've managed their own properties.
Oh, we want to talk about badly managed companies? Elon Musk!
Well, there are plenty of companies to talk about. Which one we're talking about today, Steven?
We're gonna talk about Elon Musk, but very briefly. We're not gonna make it. According to Elon Musk, if your workers work remote, then they can't make any good innovative products. The whole video game industry disagrees with him, and he's just wrong. You know, he sent out a memo that said remote work is no longer acceptable. Anyone who wishes to do remote work must be in the office for a minimum, and I mean minimum, of 40 hours per week or depart Tesla. This is less than we ask of factory workers. Now, first off, you're asking your workers to work more than 40 hours a week? That's kind of excessive, but okay. And they're not even
this ain't South Korea, Mr. Musk.
Yeah. And so everyone was like, you know, everyone roasted him. They're like, no, we get a lot of good stuff made through remote work. So you're just wrong. And funny enough, this isn't actually funny. On June 3rd, he revealed that Tesla is laying off 10% of its staff because he has a super bad feeling about the economy. Now, Elon Musk is a joke.
Well, Mr. Musk, this is not gonna help at all.
And I feel like I have to mention this because I watched this happen in real time, and this was the funniest thing I've ever seen. So, Elon Musk has a habit of taking screenshots of articles from Hard Drive, which is a satirical website that does video game stuff. And every time he does this, he crops out the site's name. So, they retweeted, "Hey, I'll give you a horse if you stop cropping our name off our articles." And one of the things they posted, if I can find it, let me see if I can find it because I thought it was hilarious. Hold on. The group I can go to my screenshots. I'm a dum-dum. So they
No, you're not.
They shared.
No, you're not, Steven. Don't beat yourself up.
So they shared they wrote an article where it says Hard Drive apologizes to Elon Musk for dunking on him too hard because
I read that one. Oh, that was a good one.
Because he said something about how they were less funny than SNL on a bad day, and they responded with, "You would know all about SNL's bad days," and it was a picture of him as Wario, and it was the funniest thing. Anyway, we've spent too much time on Musk. If you don't want to give him too much attention,
well, can I say one more thing?
No. Yeah, you can.
Okay, so basically I'm just going to bring up, like, this one person on Twitter, Robert Morrison, you know, has made plenty of tweets rebunking, you know, Mr. Musk's views on work from home. And basically, one that I think perfectly sums up this is games are not delayed because of WFH. Games are not buggy because of WFH. Games are not more expensive because of WFH. And games are not made better if you're in the office. That's not how the game development works. And, you know, I don't know Robert Morrison personally, but if I were to meet him, I'd shake his hand for that. I just need to be said out loud.
All right. So this next story, there's not a whole lot to cover here anymore because the story changed after we shared it. But basically, on June 1st, actually ahead of June 1st, the head of Respawn, or the general manager of Respawn Entertainment, spoke out on Twitter in defense of transgender rights. Let's see. He wrote, "Trans rights are human rights. It is as simple as that. Respawn has grown on the principles of diversity, equality, and inclusion and strives to uphold those values. Let's be better humans." Now, EA originally was not speaking, hadn't publicly spoken about transgender rights and women's rights. However, they did, after continued pressure from employees, they finally released a statement saying, "I want to acknowledge the pain and fear that our LGBTQ+, specifically our transgender community, is experiencing in light of emerging legislation in the U.S. and the ongoing attacks on their human rights. As a company, we are united that trans rights are human rights. Women's rights are human rights. Our support is unwavering for our people, our players, and our LGBTQ+ communities." She said the company will donate and make a 2-for-1 match of employee contributions to organizations like Human Rights Campaign and National Center for Transgender Equality to fight, quote, "the discriminatory laws and policies introduced in Texas and elsewhere."
Well, again, it's like, so, at least they're putting their money where their mouth is.
Yes.
And thankfully there have been plenty of members within EA, or plenty of companies tied to EA that or try to, very least, show some support for the trans community and for women's rights and all that. So.
Okay, so now that we've got that talked about, our important stuff, let's talk about PlayStation's State of Play. So here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to start by listing off the things that I thought were interesting. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just watched trailers for stuff I was interested in. I'm going to be completely honest there. But if I don't mention anything that you wanted to mention, then after I'm done, you can add something. So we'll start with Resident Evil 4, the remake. It's real and it is coming to PlayStation 5 on March 24th, 2023. It looks really good, and I think Resident Evil 4 is kind of overrated, but it's long overdue for a remake. So we'll see how faithful it is to the original, and two, what the gameplay looks like. If it's still going to be over the shoulder, or if it's going to be more like how Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes were. Anything you wanted to add?
Well, speaking of someone whose favorite Resident Evil is Resident Evil 4,
okay, well, we're done.
I understand. Honestly, I was kind of hoping for Code Veronica to get a remake.
Oh, yes, that would be perfect for a remake. So long over.
I still think that is one of the best Resident Evil spin-off games. And actually, way before Resident Evil 4 was ever released on GameCube or PS2 or whatever. I always thought Code Veronica was Resident Evil 4 or the fourth installment of the main timeline, but obviously that's not really the case anymore. I'm pretty sure it is. The stuff in Code Veronica is still canon, but it's like
It is. Dude, if the stage play that was only in Japan is considered canon and the books are considered canon, Code Veronica is considered canon.
Good, because that's also one of my favorite games. One of my favorite Resident Evil games. But yeah, seeing the trailer for Resident Evil 4, it looks great.
It does.
I think also the voice acting is really good. I think this voice actor for Leon is one of my favorites. I think he does a really good job with
He does.
conveying, like having Leon be vulnerable but not being incompetent, or having
he's vulnerable, but he's not whiny.
Yes. All right. I just unfortunately, I mean no ill will on the actor who played Leon in that Resident Evil movie, but I'm still close my eyes and I still am imagining that movie and how they did Leon dirty in that movie, and
that movie that my mom loved.
Hey, to each his own. Y'all, if anybody likes that movie, fine, but I ain't watching it again. Ooh, not again.
All right.
But yeah. What we're seeing for Resident Evil Remake is pretty good, and I am looking forward to it. I do fear, though, that my hope for a Dino Crisis remake is non-existent.
You never know.
But hey, gotta keep hope alive, right? Gotta keep hope alive,
Gotta keep hope alive.
Hey, there's a Jurassic World movie coming out.
There is.
That does super well. That might convince Capcom to be like, oh, dinosaurs are popular again, or that's doing I'm making a lot of money. Oh wait, we got a horror dinosaur franchise. Let's remake that. Fingers crossed.
Fingers
maybe.
crossed. So, I'll briefly mention this as well because it's not really new. They are bringing Resident Evil Village. They will be remaking VR for the PlayStation VR 2 when it becomes available.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, there's a game about being a cat in a world not meant for cats. It's called Stray, and it's coming to the PlayStation and PC on July 19th. That's cool. I missed the part where it said PC, so I'll be able to play it.
Oh yeah.
I did forget to watch this trailer, but I remember when they first announced it.
Yes, I have seen the trailer, and I've also seen some reactions mostly on YouTube of different streamers watching these different PlayStation trailers, and every single one of them was super pumped and excited for Stray. And it's a game that I think has a lot of appeal. Being able to play as a cat and exploring this city and trying to survive the floating drones that are hunting you, that's at least appealing, or at least hey, cat lovers are totally down for it.
Yeah, I mean it's a very basic concept, but it's one that's not really been done, and the perspective of playing as a cat is really interesting to me.
Yeah. There's been a couple games where you played as animals, but there's that one weird one where a fish.
Hold on.
Still one.
Could you repeat that last bit?
I'm saying I didn't remember the name, but there's a game where it has a human's face on it. I think that had voice control or voice reaction things. That might have been an N64 game that you could do a voice thing. I can't remember, but that one always creeped me out. And there was also there's another game where you play as a tarantula or a spider, and you're trying to survive this world that's filled with other spiders or scorpions. It's like there's been a couple games I can think of where you do play as animals without any weird powers or anything, just the animals surviving this world. But
okay, well then maybe I was wrong.
So far, I don't remember anyone where you're playing as a cat. So this is its own unique thing. Or hasn't been a game like this yet.
Another quick brief mention: Spider-Man Remastered is coming to the PC in August. The original Spider-Man came out on the PlayStation 4 in 2018. It was a fantastic game, and it's finally coming to a different console. Or, I guess, different hardware. So, I will definitely pick that up on my computer.
Yeah, I mean, Spider-Man, like, that game needs to be on the list of some of the best superhero games ever made, because... like, just looking at, again, even though I've played the game several times, I've seen walkthroughs of it, I've seen reactions, all throughout the internet. When I saw that trailer pop up, I was like, oh wow, I can't believe we're seeing this again. Even though I've seen it so many times, I just get goosebumps seeing it because it is that good.
It is a really good game. It does
such a great job of translating Spider-Man and his world and his characters into this semi-realistic, setting.
Another game that is being ported is Tunic, which, if you missed it, was a Zelda-like game that was very popular. That has become one of the best games of this year. So it will be joining the PlayStation family on September 27th and will be available for PS4 and PS5.
This game looks super cute.
Yeah, it did look super cute.
I haven't got a chance to play it. As a big fan of Death's Door, as I have mentioned my love for that game so much, I do feel kind of bad that one got overshadowed, because these gameplay is similar, but obviously, like, Tunic is a bit more colorful and not as depressing as Death's Door can be. But hey, I'm glad for its success. I'm glad it's getting a lot of love and hype, and by all means, more, somewhat 2.5D dungeon platformer games. Hey, I will not say no to another one.
Mm-hmm. So, one of the heavy hitters that PlayStation has, I'm not excited for. It kind of just looked really bland. And that is Final Fantasy 16. I mean, technically, like, speaking from a technical point, it did look beautiful. But it just...
yeah.
It didn't hook me. I just didn't feel compelled to keep watching the trailer. Well, I did watch the trailer all the way. I didn't feel compelled to want to, keep an eye on it.
I will say, even though I used to be really big into Final Fantasy, and I still do care about it, I'd say the art stuff for this one, I think, is trying a little too hard for Game of Thrones, being that rather gritty, medieval kind of world thing, to where I'm not super crazy about how the world looks, but if you do go... So, I do have a theory, and I could be completely wrong, but, like, the very end of the trailer does showcase, like, a bunch of humans, but also the names of the classic summons of Final Fantasy, Phoenix, Odin, Titan, Shiva, Etherit. Also, the trailer ends with Etherit, but also shows a guy staring at the screen with fire around him, saying, "It's time to awaken Etherit." And my theory, okay, yes, these Final Fantasy games do not connect. They are their own separate worlds. But there's a part of me that thinks that this game is going to be the origin of how these summons became, or like showing, or maybe in this story, the summons are first human, and you can see how they were before they officially become the summons that we all know them to be. That's just my theory anyway. I could be just wrong, but it's just the way that like they framed the humans and then saying the names of the summons. I kept thinking, are we seeing the origin origins of these summons? Are we seeing how they were before they became summons? That's at least a hook that I find the most interesting from this trailer. I do think that I will say there are people on certain channels that are more excited than this than I think either of us are. I've seen a few people being like, "Oh wow, this is what we wanted. Yes, Final Fantasy 16, let's go!" And more power to them. I'm glad this comes, and I think, I just like, but yeah, I say this is not the thing that really got me hooked for this state of play.
Alright, so before we talk about SF, are there any other games you wanted to mention?
Yes, actually. First we gotta talk about anime, early 2000s anime the game, which is Eternites. Which, yes.
Of course, you're talking about this one.
In a way, it feels like it's trying to be like Persona, but not really. And the fact that they incorporated like so many dating sims. I'm sure you've played a few. I have certainly played a few dating sims where you'd go on a date with a certain character, and then you get like a detailed screenshot of that character in certain scenes and moments, and they incorporate some of that in the game. And I'm like, wait, what?
Oh my God.
And then they revealed oh yes, this game is an action RPG mixed with dating sims. It's like, oh, okay, so basically every single thing in terms of anime and JRPG and J dating sim all combined into one game. Okay, got it, cool. But yeah, 16-year-old me would have absolutely been all up on this game, would have said this is the greatest thing ever, let's go, I want to play this game now, and hey, it might be good, but it feels like it's from the 2000. It feels like it's from 2010. Is where I'm coming from this right now. I said I'll briefly mention the Callisto Protocol. I said I do like horror games, sci-fi horror games especially, and I do believe the developers of this were formerly the team behind Dead Space, or actually it says that the creators of this game were the creators of Dead Space, so yeah, this is them trying to get back into that fold, trying to bring sci-fi horror back into it, because yeah, EA really screwed that team over and those creators over with that franchise, so got to see them going back to their roots, or going back to the thing we all love them for doing, because I like the first two Dead Space games. I was totally on board with this being a cool sci-fi horror franchise, and EA, they were being EA and ran that stuff to the ground, or really messed up their whole creative process. So, fingers crossed that Sony treats them better. I'd say Roller Drome is, I'm not super thrilled by it, but I think it reminds me of sort of indie comic, mature rated indie comic has popped up into life, and certainly it's trying to go for very much game of death, these many people enter the arena, only one can live, and everything. And hey, this game mechanics look interesting, and certainly the cool flips and dips the character's doing while doing spins and shooting guns does look kind of cool, but I'll have to see more later. And let's see if there's anything else other than the big huge thing that we're going to be talking about. Yeah, I think that's and Season. Visually looks great. I have no idea what the game's about, or if it's just going to be Life Simulator, or just going to be a slice of life game. But it visually looks great.
All right, so let's go back to Capcom, my dudes. Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
I will let Jordan
A much better logo now.
talk about this because I didn't watch the trailer. It's funny. Xander and I were playing Street Fighter yesterday because he really wanted to, and he's been practicing with a Super Nintendo controller.
Cool. All right. So yeah, it's up to me, the resident video game historian here.
Whoa.
All right. So basically, as I said, like there's, as I said, this, the big PlayStation to play had a lot to say or a lot to reveal of the newest Street Fighter game, Street Fighter 6, and I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all. I think this one was the best trailer. Pokemon was fine. Resident Evil was fine. Sonic Frontiers I thought was okay, but I understand people were hoping for more, hoping for something a little better. But to me, Street Fighter 6 managed to deliver and then some because because I think we covered briefly of the teaser from a few months ago.
We made fun of the logo.
It was interesting, but plenty people were just talking about how bad the logo was, how there wasn't much to it. And it was just I truly think the stink of Street Fighter 5 was still waving over Street Fighter 6, so there was a lot of people being I don't know, I'm not so sure about this, the last one didn't do so great. So I think visually this looks amazing, and I think it's really because they were also Capcom released a whole website or more details on the website of all the different dive mechanics on parries, on blocking and counters that really I think bring up some elements that were from Street Fighter 3 and various others, but doing its own unique thing. And also there was a brief mentioning on the website of there's going to be 2 different control modes. One is modern, one is classic, and how modern is it's going to be you don't have to do too many crazy button controls or motion controls in order to perform moves, but there's certain moves you can't do, whereas classic you can do whatever you want. You can do all kinds of crazy button insanity as you possibly can. But more importantly, I just think the art style is really good. I obviously there was a thought process of, is this game going to be super detailed and realistic and maybe even gritty? Is this going to be a Final Fight Streetwise thing? Which thankfully it's not. Thankfully, this game does, it is detailed, it's a bit more realistic, but it still has style and it's a bit exaggerated we're used to for Street Fighter. And yeah, the look of Ryu, I think Ryu looks a little better than he did here, than he did in the first teaser. Chun-Li looks amazing. She is she looks older in this game, but she still got it. She still got it. And 3 new characters they did introduce here, or the 2 new characters they introduced, which is Jamie and Kimberly. I think their designs look cool. Luke, he's technically speaking a new character, but he was a DLC in Street Fighter 5, and from what I heard, plenty of people did not like him in that DLC, or just the idea of because Capcom, any franchise will go here's a brand new character and this is gonna be the future of the franchise, and naturally people are screw you, we don't care about this guy, or we hate this guy for how dare you try and do new things.
Yeah.
I thought Luke was fine. I thought Luke was just hey, I love fighting, I love training, and I have nothing but respect for the World Warriors, Ryu and Chun-Li. I think they're great, and I just want to spar with them and train and fight along with them. And as I said, this trailer worked for me. This to me is my favorite trailer of this week, and as I said, I am. This did what it should have done, what I think the team should have done before. This got my hopes up for this franchise, and I am really excited for Street Fighter 6.
All right. Well, that's all the stories we got for you today. You know, we had some technical difficulties, but surprisingly less than we usually do. The audio is going to be a little weird this time, and I do apologize for that. But one more week. One more week.
Right on. Right on.
So
I said, here's hoping we got, because hoping that we got some cool stories next week, because this one was a lot, and I wanted to make sure this one turned out great and turned out, because hey, this is covering a lot of things I love. It's covering Pokemon, it's covering Sonic, it's covering Street Fighter and Resident Evil. Like, hey, this was a good week for the future of video games and for video game adaptations. And I hope we get more of these. Maybe not next week, but hopefully in the future.
Alright, so as always, thank you for watching and stay cool.
Game over!
Alrighty. I will